The Marz Talk Show. Late Night Chaos. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Late Night Talk Show. I know that's a little strange to say, considering you can probably still see there's sun out, but I live in Arizona, so the sun's always out. Tonight we have a very special guest with us. I'd like to introduce you to Gino Símplicío. Say hello, Gino.
Hey, guys.
For you guys who don't know, Gino here has been someone who's helped me out on various projects, providing music, and he's also included me on a few little projects that I've shared here and there. Gino, why don't you go ahead and just give us a brief introduction here about who you are, what do you do, and I can stop rambling.
I feel you. So, my name is Gino Símplicío. I'm currently majoring in visual effects and motion graphics at the Art Institute of Phoenix. Which I'll be graduating in 2 months.
Nice. Very nice.
Are you basically wanting me to talk about my history with music, or what did you want me to specifically talk about? Because I could go on all day. There's various things I could talk about.
Well, let's go ahead and start with the music bit, because, I mean, that's where you and I first started working on various projects with each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's start there. It's like, where did you even begin with music? I don't even know this story. Like, how did this all start for you?
Actually, a lot of people don't know, except for, like, family, really. So, what it started out was, I'd say when I was, like, around 5 or 6 or so, my mom, or my dad, one of them, my parents basically were just, like, saying, okay, so you're going to do piano lessons. And as I recall, I didn't really have a choice in the matter. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to do music. So I did the piano lessons. I didn't like it at first, and then I got into it. What killed it, though, was, as a kid, I kept moving. And I started when I lived in Virginia. And by when I moved to Las Vegas and just these other places, it was getting boring for me, because it was like, it was just classical music. And, I totally get why, because, classical music helps you understand the stuff now, but I felt like I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it. I was just like, okay, here's how you play this scale, here's how you play this chord, now learn this song, that's it. I never learned, the emotional value. Like, I want to do something angry, what chords do I do?
Yeah, you're just getting a lot of the mechanics, but nothing like that would actually pull you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, So that started to change a little bit when I lived in North Carolina, because there was this piano teacher, his name was Jerry Diamond, and what he did was he would make his own songs to teach, and some of the songs were really good. Honestly, if I could learn them on a piano again, I would. I still have the music books, because they're that great. They're fantastic. But after I moved here, I was like, I'm not gonna get that. It's not gonna happen again. I'm probably gonna get more classical music. So I was like, forget it. So I quit doing music for a while, and so what got me back into it was I had this old Mac. It was like the latest iMac in 2009, 2008.
So it was one of those. Was it still one of those bulky ones that they had?
No, not the bulky ones. It kind of looks like the ones now, but they weren't as thin.
Okay.
They were, fatter.
Yeah.
When they had the discs in them, before Apple started thinking, oh, DVDs are dead.
Just a side comment, we can't say fat. Remember,
Anyway,
they're curvy.
So I'm sorry, what was that?
Remember, we can't say fat anymore. They're curvy. That's the lingo we have to use.
Very true. But yeah, so I was messing around with the programs, because before then I had an iBook. It was back when they had the different color laptops with the curved corners and everything.
Okay, yeah.
And so I never got to mess around with the programs. So I discovered iMovie, which got me to doing videos, which is another story. But then I got into GarageBand, and so I was messing around with it, and I was messing around with the loops and samples on it. And so I came up with this song. It was called Progressive Percussions, and it was just loops and samples, nothing serious. But I liked it, so I had it on my iPod. People played, people like it, and And so then, I kept messing around with it more, and I kept putting up other songs, and just loop some samples on its own. And so, what really got it going was there was this assignment in my economics class. We had to sell a product to people in our school. We would actually make money off of it. And so I could have come up with anything. Because I'm thinking I would anything would require waste of money. My mom would be like, hell no, probably. So
understandable.
I was like, okay, screw it. How about I'll make an album? And so that's when I came up with my first album, Cyber Fantasy, in 2011. And so then I was like, this is not going to go anywhere. It's loops and samples. I wasn't original at all. And so, but then I was like, screw it, I'll put it on Last FM. And on its own, just from the radio and everything, the online radio on it, I suddenly got I forgot how many listeners. I know I ended up getting 3,000 plays, and I got I think it was a few hundred listeners, just from doing absolutely nothing. Yeah. So I was kind of like, all right, I'll experiment, make, and do more. And that's why I did the other two albums. Oh yeah, then the other thing is, sometime during that process of that album, I started taking piano lessons again. And last thing I was practicing learning was the beginning of Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force.
Oh, gosh.
I actually got some good luck out of that. That was
really
fun. But yeah, I couldn't get past the main part. Just at the beginning, I was like, oh my god. But yeah, so I quit again because I was just so focused on school that I didn't really want to do that. I think over time I realized I don't want to play the piano anymore. I want to do vocals. But I think as of recently, my passion for music's really gotten higher. Just as years go on, I've been wanting to start a band. I've been having songs in my head that if I could find the right people, they could really make an impact on people. I think the ideas are catchy, some are really intense, and I think if I could find the right people, really go somewhere. And with how people like those past 3 albums, it makes me want to do original stuff and start actually taking it seriously and getting it something. So
absolutely.
That's basically leading up to it. And yeah, basically my game. And also recently, with school and everything, one of the major things we got to do in my major at the Art Institute is we got to learn how to mix music. I'm sorry, not mix music, mix audio.
Mix audio, okay.
With voiceovers and music and everything.
Right.
Just making sure it all blends together. So I've really learned how to mix a lot better than I did when I did those 3 albums. So,
very cool.
It's just and then Tyler Jeffrey gave me a soundboard for free. He gave me all this other stuff too, but give me that so I can start recording and mixing it. So it's just why not? It's I feel like if I don't do that, if I don't work with people on music, I think it's a missed opportunity. And
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Plus, it can also help my videos too, because I can come up with my own songs and then add my own videos and music videos to it.
Right.
Or building my portfolio. So it's like hitting 2 birds with one stone,
Well, as I always tell people, it's there is nothing wrong with going full on independent. You don't have to be signed to a record label,
That's true.
Personally myself, I'm full on independent. I don't sign myself to anything. So it's I get to move around freely and do whatever I wish. And so going out and talking to various different artists, I've met several different music artists, and I always try to tell them that it's don't stress out about trying to get that record label sign up, keep doing what you're doing because it works,
Yeah. Exactly. I think if people are at least liking it, it doesn't really matter how popular you get, as long as you're able to, as long as the people noticing are liking it, I think that's a sign you're really heading in the right path.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've heard really talented artists and they never get signed. They haven't gotten signed yet, I should say. Good example. You've heard Kyler Jeffrey's music,
and he's absolutely phenomenal. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he has the most unique, electronic music I've ever heard, and it's so good. And no one, he's been getting a bit more attention on SoundCloud, from what I've noticed, but he still doesn't have that attention. And I think if he really got exposed, he could really be popular. Because, I think he just needs to do that more. Because, I've shown his music to roughly about 30, 40 people, and out of all of them, only 3 people have said, I don't like this.
Right.
Like, everyone else respond well to it, So, another good example is, my friends are in this metal band. Well, they're called Hands of a Traitor, but they're going to change their name. But, they've been making music since 2010. And, like, they just get better every time they release stuff. And, they haven't gotten signed at all.
Very cool.
I think it's because mainly they've been focusing on doing locally, and they got school and other obligations.
Sure.
So I think that's why. But I mean, regardless, all these guys are hell of talented, and I really think that if they keep playing their cards right, keep moving forward, I think they could really make it somewhere. Because honestly, I think some of these people really deserve it.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but out here in Arizona, there's actually a lot of local talent. It's actually incredible what all is out there. I mean, speaking personally for you, Gino, I mean, I've been watching the work you've been doing. I've seen stuff you've shared. And I mean, I'm sitting here just going like, if I had half that talent, I could do so much more.
Thanks, man. That really means a lot. Just out of curiosity, are you referring more to like the audio, or are you referring more to like the videos?
Oh, I mean, seriously, everything, dude. I mean, people oftentimes say that my video work is good. I always think it's very mediocre, quite honestly, because, well, as they say, you're your own worst critic. So I'm always very harsh against myself.
Oh, I am too. I am a lot. And like when you have a period, like as there was a while I was struggling at our institute, and it wasn't because I wasn't good enough or I wasn't like awesome enough or anything. I think it was just more of, learning to apply my talents to what I'm learning.
Yes.
Like before I started at our institute, like I had a very certain setup of things. It was very video oriented, and it was very free form. And so when I went to Art Institute, it was kind of like, okay, you need to do it this way, in this exact way. At least that's how it felt in my head. And so, like, it kind of just felt like no matter what I tried to do, it just wasn't working. So it just made me feel lost for a while, you know? And so I think because of that, it made me a really harsh critic of myself. And it eventually led me to overcome it and, just really try to get better. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to make stuff for people and have them be disappointed. I want them to be, I want them to really be, I really want them to be happy with it, knowing that it's something different, but, a lot of people can really like it,
Absolutely.
I feel like, I feel like if you're not doing that, I really feel like you're not living it to the fullest, or at least I'm not living it to the fullest.
Right. Well, it's like, if you're doing something and you're not feeling any fulfillment out of it, then why continue it? It's obviously it's not something for you to do at that point. Yeah. It's like, I may be harsh on myself, but I still love what I'm doing. I have a sense of purpose with it, It's like when I'm working on these projects, it's like, okay, this is the goal and I'm going to reach that goal. And when I reach the goal, I feel good.
Question, do you ever like show yourself to other people and get like critiques from them? Just to get input on what they're liking and what they're not liking? All
the time, because that is like the biggest thing I want to hear. I want to hear what can I improve on, what can I do better. And exactly. I mean, that's a point I always drive to people. It's like, if there's feedback you can give me that can make this into something more, that can make it better, tell me. I want to know that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, in the end, you never stop learning, because life evolves, technology evolves, everything we do evolves, and we are never the same person as years go on. So it's like you never stop learning.
Absolutely.
You're always going and moving forward, and that could be really hard. That could be a really big struggle. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's better than just sitting around doing nothing and just dreaming in your head.
Right.
Because then you end up in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, and you'll just be like, God, missed out so much.
Yeah, why did I make the leap? Why didn't I just take the plunge? It's like you just got to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I think the big motivation for me, is like I said before. I know so many talented people. They're from graphic designers to artists to tattoo artists to musicians, with vocals, bass, guitar. I know people who can mix music, people who can rap, who can sing, who can scream.
Right.
I know people who are just great with video production. Some have gotten involved in big things, some involved with little things. I just know so many people in Arizona, and I feel like if I'm not doing anything, and then if I know other people that aren't into that, they're usually really funny, they're really good actors.
Right.
It's just something, and it's just like I know so many people where it's just kind of like I want to do stuff with these people.
Yes.
I feel like if I'm not, it's like I feel like I'm just wasting an opportunity. And
right.
It's like I want to do stuff with friends and other people and just do fun stuff. Not make it overly strenuous. At the same time, getting the hard work done and just really kicking butt at it. And I really think that could be great because I want to see my friends succeed. I want to see the people I care about succeed. And I also have a hard drive to want to succeed myself. So it's like, why not do it together? We'll be stronger that way in the end,
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that, man. And, I mean, unfortunately, sometimes what you'll run into, and this can be discouraging when this happens, what you'll sometimes run into is you run into people, who they say they're all gung-ho for it. It's like, let's do it, but then they don't deliver.
Exactly. Yeah. See, yeah, and that's the one big fear that I've been thinking about a lot. One thing that's important is always have backup plans. Like, okay, I want to do this, but this person says no, or they say yes. But yeah, if it happens, I have a backup plan.
Right.
So I definitely want to do that because. Yeah, I every time I think, all right, it's gonna go exactly this way, it never does. Something happens, something unfortunate, or people say, hey, we're gonna do a song, or we're gonna do this or that, and then when I hit them up, it's just like it's completely whatever. Yeah. So, I think the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm honestly thinking about testing people, just kind of seeing okay, hey, I want to do this, what do you think about it? Just kind of drag people in and see what they think, and just kind of know who's really up for this and who's just saying it just to make me feel good. And it's
right. Yeah,
because I don't want to deal with bullshitters, you know what I mean? I just want to be able to do it with people and enjoy it. And it's if you don't want to do it, that's cool. I'd rather be told that than be lied to in that case,
Right.
But it is the preferred. This is the environment we live in, in our field. So it's you're always going to see that, but.
Yeah, there'll be those who talk a big game but really don't have much,
Right.
And that's kind of, call it my humility, but it's I always try to explain to people, it's yes, I've gotten to do this, I've gotten to do that, but really, I'm still a small fish in a big ocean here, all right?
And I think one thing that's also just as bad is, the opposite, having more than you could realize, but you're just so down on yourself that it's just you're just oh, I'm horrible, I'll never make it, I'll be bad,
Yeah.
we all have our down days. I do constantly, but I try not to let that get to me, and I just keep trying to push forward because, and I know a lot of people that do that. They're just
oh, yeah.
I'm not that good or whatever. And it's I'm looking at them and it's how are you thinking that? Your work, your music, your art, it's so beautiful. And it's you think you're not that good?
Right.
I don't know. I think that could be just as bad sometimes because I feel a lot of people that think that way, they have a lot more inside themselves than they realize. And honestly, if they really took time to see that, I really think that could get somewhere with them,
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, it's naturally you always are going to be your worst critic in what you do. But it's having that sense of pride in what you do at the same time and saying, this is something I want to do, it's something I've worked for, I'm going to see it to the end.
Right.
And a lot of people, they lose that. They somewhere along the line, I don't know, they build up this wall in their mentality where it's oh, if I do finish this, it's all going to end in disaster. And I'm so what if it does? You did it though. You tried. Now take what you've learned and improve.
And you know what? In the end, you shouldn't really have any regrets because you learned something from it. Whether you learn something you should be doing or learn something not to do in the future.
Exactly.
Or no, there's always something you can learn out of any experience you do, even if you screw up multiple times. But it's better to screw up and fail than to just not try at all.
Right. And it's like my biggest thing, and I know it's going to come as shockers to some people, but when I first was starting out in learning how to do voice acting, I was so nervous about the sound of my voice that when walking in to audition, I didn't know how I was supposed to interact with anyone. I was just so nervous. And really the best thing you can do is just be relaxed and be professional. And I always tell everyone, make sure that you greet each individual there and give them a handshake, but remain calm and professional. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone who shows confidence and professionalism.
Yeah, that's one thing I try to do all the time. Whether I'm hanging with friends and they bring someone new, or I'm someone professionally, I usually like to go say, hey, like, hi, I'm Gino, and I always try to give them a handshake. I try to make sure it's a good firm handshake, and I like to give off a good first impression with people.
Absolutely.
I think it's really important. I think the one thing that lacks in today's society is communication. People aren't communicating with each other. They think, oh, this could be used against me, or like no one will understand, and I don't know. I think that's really been the big hindrance. So it's like I try not to do that. I mean, granted, I'm as much as I like to communicate, sometimes my word choice can be bad, but in the end I try to figure out, okay, what would be the right way to project this, or
right,
or if I can't, be like, okay, switch visually, like show me visually, or I can show visually.
Well, it's like oftentimes like we I don't know exactly when this happened, but somewhere along the lines, our society kind of built up this whole over the top sensitivity to being criticized, and so that over time has developed us with this mentality of that, like you were just saying, it's like they're too afraid to say anything because, then it's like, oh, that'll be used against me, they're gonna try to twist it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what, okay, there's some scummy people out there who might do that, but for the most part, people in general are not like that. People are actually pretty laid back and cool.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I always get paranoid that can happen. I will admit I am guilty of it, but I try not to let it consume me. Because I think it's just because, like from 2011 to like 2015, it was just, my life was just pure hell for the most part. and yeah, like, I mean, I used to hang out with you all the time, like a few years ago, so it's like, what I'm talking about. I don't need to start doing anything, but like, like that. Like sometimes there's it really. Basically, I think that really can go. Oh my god! I hate when I do that. I just forgot what I was saying. Oh my god. Okay, but
I'm sure it was very philosophical and inspiring.
Yeah, I think basically I was gonna say, I think the other thing with this is, we're always growing as people. Well, okay, so I said that, but like the point is like a lot, like usually people in our age group, we tend to be lost in what we want, how we fit in this world.
Yes.
I think it's even harder now because, okay, I remember saying, so like, I think with today's society, we're kind of growing in a way where no one can relate because of how technology is so dominant. And like look at our parents, our grandparents. Yeah, they can tell us life lessons, but at the end of the day, they can't understand it completely because we're growing up with like technology, the internet, all this stuff that that our parents never would have thought it could ever exist,
right?
Or at least come to this point. And so I think because of that, it makes it overwhelmingly more difficult. And finding a place in this world is harder, in my opinion, because, with the internet, we can express how we want to, but everyone's doing that. So it makes it harder to stand out and be, saying, okay, like, I want to be this person. Well, all these people want to be unique. So now you don't really stand out because everyone's trying to do something different. And look at YouTube, for example. If we look back at like in the 2000s, YouTube was kind of getting there. But you have your YouTuber, you have your YouTubers that started out, that got popular, and they didn't really have a format or anything, but there was a competition. If you made something cool that people liked, you would get attention. I think that's why, YouTubers like Shane Dawson or Smosh or something like that, someone like that got popular.
Right.
But
yeah.
like now, it's like hundreds of people are doing this stuff. Some are good, some are bad. And like I bet if artists, if like YouTubers like Shane Dawson or Smosh or like Onision, who started then, if they were to start now, I bet they wouldn't be getting much attention, just because of the fact like there's so many people around. And I think that's really the big challenge of what we're going through. It's like we could put a video up and it may not even get 100 views over a period of a few months, but then someone else could do something just as the same and get maybe thousands, maybe millions of views.
Right.
So I think it's really just trying to figure out, okay, what can I make that will make people want to watch this? And that's something I really I've analyzed for myself for, especially when it comes to doing, the YouTube stuff I want to do and the finds and, just trying to figure out, okay, what can people search for that would want to find this video, but at the same time, it's something that's me. It's not, I'm just going to suck up to the trends or everything, because I think that could do only so much.
Right.
I think, I wouldn't mind doing some trendy stuff, maybe with like Vine or like doing artwork or something, but I think just doing YouTube videos, I just don't see myself doing that unless it's like have a trend or something that means something to me. So
sure.
I think it's really the only thing that gets like popular these days, where it's something that's just trending.
Yes.
At the current moment, and then they make a video and everyone likes it, even if it's retarded as hell. I mean, it's crazy. All the weird stuff you see online that trends. Like I remember seeing this one video on Facebook where this dude, I forgot the exact details, but this man was having like a bromance with a bear. I don't know if you've seen that video.
I don't know if I caught this one.
Yeah, like at the beginning of it looked like the bear and the dude were like making out, and like this had millions of views. I'm like, and then he was like wrestling with the bear, like he's like a pet or something, and I was just like, okay, like you could just make the most insane thing and just suddenly get popular.
Right.
The Dan Daniel, perfect.
Oh, yes.
Like always doing this thing in action, be like Daniel, and it just got viral.
Yeah.
It's like I think really it was because he did the accent, but it's like it's amazing you could just do that one thing and get millions of views, and then you could just put all this work, like we could put like all our work and time into a video, and then put on YouTube, and no one pays attention. So
yeah,
I think that's really the big challenge, and I think when you look at it that way, it could be really hard to know where you fit in this world, knowing like is what I'm doing even worth it? And
I hear you on that one.
Yeah,
and
so,
it's funny that you bring that up too, because I made an extravagant long post on Facebook sometime last month, I think, regarding this whole situation, because I was kind of hitting one of those points where I was just getting frustrated, because my views had gone down, and I was just kind of in a bad place at the time.
yeah.
And so I made this incredibly extravagant long post. And basically, I was trying to drive home the point that it's like, okay, as independent artists, the most support that we look for is going to come from family and friends, because they're the ones who are going to be our initiative support that we receive. Because our work's going to be first viewed by them, so they're going to see it first, and so we look to them to give us feedback. Is it good? Is it bad? Is there anything I can do is there anything I should change,
Yeah, right.
And unfortunately, sometimes, and this is a case that I've ran into a lot with a lot of the independent artists that I know, where for whatever reason, friends and family don't give them the support they need. And I always feel bad about that, because I'm just like, if this is something they're passionate about and they want it to become possibly their life career, wouldn't you want to support them?
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, I think also it's good to be. I think the only issue with friends and family getting input is, I know this happens more other people. Well, it kind of happens to me sometimes, but I think one issue sometimes asking friends or family is, depending on what it is. Like sometimes they don't sugarcoat it, just because oh, it's great, just because they're your friend. I know my parents don't do that. If they don't like it, they'll be like, you could do better, which is nice because I know
they're straight up with you. That's great.
Oh, my kid, like, oh, it's so good, like, or like they'll just pretend to say it's good. But then I think the other thing too, and I think this also applies to what I was saying before, is it's amazing how, like, so many parents are just, like, so many friends I know just do not have great parents. And, like, one would be really, like, cause them a lot of emotional trauma, or maybe they were raised, with their parents being divorced, so they don't really get the full, like, so things are more, they're wrapped around in the drama that their parents put them through, or, them realizing that, like, you being born was an accident, or just, or some even to the extremes, like being raped and abused, and it's just like, I feel bad for so many people that are going through that, because it's just like, you're not getting the love that you really deserved when you were a kid, and I think that makes you feel more lost, because, like, okay, I don't have my parents to have a shoulder to cry on, and some of them not even have friends, because they can't talk to people or, be around that, and it's just heartbreaking, especially
Absolutely.
knowing that, like, what, isn't it like 51% of marriages end in divorce? Or was
right.
it higher?
Yeah, it's up there, and it's ridiculous. I'm just like, really? I mean, people are that unhappy? It's astounding.
Yeah, and it's just upsetting. It's I don't know. It just feels like people are getting more crazy, and it's I don't know. It just sucks. It makes me more fortunate that I'm living the way I am. It makes me more grateful that, like, because really, a lot of people don't really realize how great they really have it. They just say, "Oh, my life sucks, and I was kind of feeling it.
I'm still listening. I just gotta flip on a light here. It's starting to get dark in here.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll make some stuff like that does not help at all. Here, I think I'll turn on some lights.
I can see you pretty good, if that helps.
You still got shadows. Oh, I know what to do. I got it. I know what to do.
I just sat here awkwardly for a couple minutes, so it's all good.
Actually, that looks better. I look like I'm out of the shadows. Like, it looks like in those movies where there's like the evil villain. His head is all like dark.
Well, that's what I was trying to feel like. So I was like, I gotta get a light on here.
Guys,
we went on a very philosophical rampage there. Oh my gosh. What?
It's great. I've been kind of realizing that to myself, because I think that's one thing a lot of people already in the business don't realize, because they started before all that started happening and everything, and I think just knowing that balance. The other thing too, I think the one thing that also does not help is, what I'm specifically doing in my major, no one knows what it is. So, like, when I tell people, like, when they ask me what my major is, and I say, I'm doing visual effects and motion graphics, the top question I ask is, what is that? I have no idea what that is. And yet, you can watch, like, practically, 90% of the videos you watch in a day involve one of those two things. You can't go, there's rarely a TV show or a movie that does not have one of those two things in it. Or every commercial has motion graphics in it.
Absolutely.
The moving graphics, the moving text, the logo animations, the seeing all the lower thirds on the news, saying their name and everything, just all that. We see it every single day, and yet no one knows what that is because people are so used to it in their head that it just doesn't mean anything.
Right. Well, I totally hear you on that, man, because it's incredible when I tell people that I'm involved in voice acting, and they have no idea what it is. Like I have the same situation where it's like I'm talking just like someone I've just met, and they'll ask me like some of the stuff I do, and I'll start listing, and then I'll say, and it's like, oh, I've also dabbled a little bit in voice acting. And they're just like, what does that mean, voice acting? And I'm like, well, I mean, you've gone to the theater, and, you've obviously, heard in those trailers where the guy with the deep voice comes on and is just like, in a world, one man. And I either get one or two responses. Either they catch on to what I'm meaning, or they're just like, so you're the one man? And I'm like, no, I'm the one who says that.
I can't, okay. Doing it for the stuff I said, voice acting, that's actually pretty surprising to me. It's like we've all grown up with like animated shows, and we've seen at least one behind the scenes of like one of our favorite movies, and seeing the actual actors talking, in a microphone similar to how yours is set up right now,
right?
And, be able to do all that. So,
well, here's what I've learned about it, because
it's my point even more,
Well, yeah, here's what I've learned about it though, is that because initially, when cartoons were being made, they were actually taking actors from movies, from film, and having them do the voices. So people didn't make the connection that, oh, you could actually make a career out of doing that, and that's how voice acting developed. So a lot of people still have the mindset of, oh, they're just actors, and it's like, yes, they are. We are actors, but we act with our voice.
Crazy. Cool. I'm trying to come up because like your cam lagged for a second, but I think that's on me. My internet's being weird. Like, okay. Anyways, I totally heard you.
I'm gonna see about. I also got a question for you, because I mean, with everything we've been talking about, out of curiosity, then, do you feel that your work personally, you could use that as maybe a catalyst, if you will, to maybe help those who are struggling, or help those who are trying to figure out, what this life's all about? Do you feel like you could have some kind of influence with that?
I really think I can, and I think that's the other reason why I want to work with my friends, because they're going through it too, in their own way. We all have our own way. We all, whether it's now or in the past, or maybe hasn't happened yet. They just feel lost and not know what they're wanting to do, and I think people really need that motivation. For me, it was music, sometimes traveling and doing artwork and videos, watching TV shows.
It's incredible how that worked. Huh?
Did you do that loud jump? There was like a loud.
Oh.
Okay.
I was the neighbors.
Yeah.
But isn't it amazing how that works though? Is that, and I've said this before, oftentimes, how art in itself, it's kind of this thing that tends to transcend all the other boundaries we have, and people are drawn to it, because it is something that connects on a much deeper level.
I mean, it's really important, and I think more people feel lost every day, especially just hearing how many people, cut themselves, or committed suicide. I think I'd really like to do stuff like that. I mean, with music, I've had song ideas that kind of figure out, I think a lot of them talk about being lost and not knowing who I am anymore, and I kind of focus more on the sympathizing with your pain rather than motivating them to get out of it, because I think more, because I feel like, if someone's in that state of mind and you try to motivate them, I feel like it doesn't mean much in the end. Like, it may mean something for about a little while, but in the end it just goes away. And I feel like the big thing people feel is like no one understands them. So I feel like if I do songs where I'm talking about situations of being lost and confused, I think it could really maybe give the impression like, okay, this guy knows how I'm feeling, rather than just some preach story on how I'm, gonna be, that how it'll get better in the end,
Yes.
People won't believe that it gets better until it actually gets better. Like for me, I didn't think my life was going to get better because it was so bad for such a long period of time that I was really wanting to just give up on myself. And and eventually things did get better. Like things are a lot better now. And I never thought it would, because we're so locked into our current moment that if it feels bad and it goes longer than like a month or a year or so, people are like, we're kind of convincing our head like this is going to keep happening for a long period of time. It's not going to go away, and like who knows? The next day something great can happen, and you're just living it, and you're living in the world.
Right.
Who knows what can happen? And
well, I'm just gonna flat out say it because this is the age category that you and I are in, so we see a lot of it, and we've both been going through it. When you're between that age of, I would say, 17 up to the age of 25, life can just be miserable.
I think that's really the hardest point in your life. Yeah, you got to deal with all the adult responsibilities, and that could be hard, but I think nothing's harder than dealing with that while figuring out who you are and having to juggle it all at once.
Yeah.
I don't blame people for going crazy over that. Like, I really don't.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible because it's like some people they figure out at an early age what they are in life, but for the vast majority, like I said, between that age of 17 and 25 years old, it is just a whirlwind. You're just trying to figure everything out, and to be quite honest, there's not a lot of there is some guidance you can get, like be it from maybe your parents or other family members or friends, but when you're really in that mindset of that time, because you're really internally looking at yourself and just saying, you're asking yourself, who am I? That is a question that's going to define the rest of your life. So it's like that's a very stressful time to be in.
Definitely. So, what are your future plans for the stuff that you're doing?
When this become about me? Wait.
I'm actually really curious because I never really had a good conversation with you about that. Like, I know stuff you're doing, and like I kind of have an idea, but I never really asked like, what are you ideally wanting to head for in the future?
Okay, that's a fair question. It's a question I get asked. That's totally cool. So what I try to explain to people is that I'm still in the building stages of everything I'm doing, and that's okay. So with that, my ultimate goal is I'm going to, naturally make everything I'm doing my lifelong career. So I have this weird concept in my head, and this is where people tend to kind of like get a little lost. But I have a weird concept in my head that we're in a time period where you don't have to necessarily lock yourself into just one thing.
Sure.
So my whole argument is that it's like, okay, when people ask me, what's your end goal? What are you going to do with your life? They're looking for me to say one specific thing. But the thing with that is that I don't necessarily have to have one specific thing. I have a whole wide variety of options I can take. And especially in the position I'm in as an independent artist, I don't have to lock myself into one area. So that's why I've experimented with photography. I've experimented with film and video production. I've experimented with acting, voice acting. Heck, I've even experimented a little bit in music. So my idea is to take all these things and then make a platform that can actually utilize all these things, not just promote my own work, but promote other people's work. Now, there are other platforms that you can do that through, sure. I use YouTube as the platform where I can put all that stuff into.
Right.
But in sense, the platform I'm creating that's being streamed through YouTube is the platform of Childlike Minded Productions, where people can be creative like a child is. They don't have to be bound to one thing specific. They're free to do what they want,
Yeah. See, that's exactly, yeah, like, I'm glad you said that, because I mean, in the end, I really want to do that too. You know, I mean, especially with my major. You know, it's essentially mixing a bunch of elements together. You know, whether it's graphic design, 3D modeling, animating, video production, you know, all this stuff. I mean, I'd love to go from doing like, like video production to motion graphics to visual effects to, you know, audio mixing and audio recording to like graphic design to all this different kind of stuff. And, you know, like on one end, I really want to do YouTube videos, you know, make vines, do like art on Tumblr. I'm already starting to get attention on Tumblr. I'm actually getting a good amount of followers just from posting my artwork and showing my videos, and that's been one. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start doing stuff that like with characters in it that are more popular, just because I want to, and some characters inspire me. So why not? I definitely want to do that at some point. Just a little spoiler. I don't know when I'm gonna do it though. But you know, there's but you know, at the end of the day, I also want to do music. I also want to do another solo album, and I do want to do. I have enough ideas for doing my career solo albums with a band, and you know, I definitely want to mix around and all that. You know, even other times maybe just start mixing instead of actually being involved in it. You know, so I think you could really go all over the place, but I definitely want to do that too.
Absolutely,
if I do one thing, I'll just get bored of it.
Right.
I can't keep doing the same thing from 50 times.
Yeah. That might work for some people, but you know, for individuals like us, that doesn't flow.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. I forgot. Yeah, like for me, that's what I do when I do. You know, I want to do YouTube and all that stuff too, but then do the music, and then I also want to do like music videos or videos for bands.
Sure.
And, you know, I just really want to jump all over the place. I think the other thing too is because people don't know what visual effects and graphics and matte painting, all that stuff is. You know, that can give a huge weakness to the video community, because especially like YouTube or Vine, because like people don't know what that is, and people who do that and do it on those sites, they typically don't get the attention because they're trying to go for that professional route. Therefore, people aren't going to notice it because it's not about something that they care about. But like if you do it in a YouTube platform, you get a lot of attention. There's only been a few artists that done it, but like think about it. So you're familiar with Epic Rap Battles of History, right?
Yes, absolutely.
If you look at the behind the scenes for what these guys do, they're not doing like 3D modeling, the backgrounds, the information. They're really going away. That's pure visual effects, and they're not the most popular web series around on the internet. And,
right.
Yeah, and it sucks. I heard that they're doing season 5 and it's gonna be their last season. I hope that's not true. I hope it's just a rumor. But they're really influential for me. Then on Vine, I don't know if you pay attention to Vine, but there's this one Viner who goes by the name of Zach King, and what he does is he does like magic tricks, but they're really visual effects. Like, for example, he'll grab a cloud off the sky and start eating it.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I recognize that.
You know, like, let's take a picture of a pizza through a printer, and suddenly, like, a pizza actually, like, an actual pizza comes out. I remember seeing one time he'll, like, swipe through the apps on the iPhone, and, like, apps come out of the phone. And just, like, that's pure visual effects, and he's getting so much attention for it.
Right.
That's the best example in the world, you know? So it's like, it'd be cool to do stuff like that, but then also, you know, do typical YouTube format, stuff that people can learn from and, you know, be interested in. Like, I'd love to do, like some of the ideas I wanted to do, there was this one thing I wanted to do where I explain why people like something, so people can get why people like it. Like, I want to do one where why people like metal.
Okay.
Like, that's where, you know, because I think a lot of people don't understand why so many people like metal music. A lot of people consider it just to be like noise and just screaming randomly makes no sense. And, you know,
well, they said the same thing about dubstep and techno.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I could do the same thing about that too, and I wouldn't even be opposed to it. You know, and it's like you don't get like the emotion that gets put into it, and some of the lyrics can really be relatable and can really be motivational in a very abrasive kind of way.
Oh yeah.
And, exactly. You know, and I love to explain it in a video. I found something in my head called "Why People Hate Society," Go through all the in-depth psychological reasoning, like some of the stuff we've already talked about.
Well, sure, yeah.
How people can't learn from their mistakes, how people are having this constant routine, and I don't know. But then at the same time, I also want to jump to, doing like I've thought of ideas doing parodies of like other stuff where it's like other songs, other YouTubers. I don't know. There's really a ton of ideas floating in my head, but at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to stick at that one thing, because especially on YouTube, because then people want you for that one thing.
Yeah.
Anything else, no one will give a crap less. Like, I bet if the guys who did Epic Rap Battles in History, if they stopped and they started doing other stuff, unless it's really good and memorable as that, no one's going to want to watch it even remotely as much as Epic Rap Battles. They're just going to complain how they want a new one, or
Yeah, you could just see the comments that would explode on that one. They'd be like saying, it's like, why the heck did you go and do that? This is what we came here for. Exactly. It's like, as content creators, we are allowed to do whatever the heck we want,
Oh yeah. So I have another question to ask you. You said earlier that you didn't like how your voice sounded when you did, and so that made you scared to do voice acting, right?
It made me very nervous because I wasn't comfortable with my own voice at the time.
Yeah. How did you get out of that?
It took some time, but over time I became more comfortable with my voice. I recognized this is how my voice sounds, and I had to identify that, okay, that's my voice. Now how do I use it? That's the next question I had to put to myself. Yeah. So my voice naturally is very bass-like. Yeah. So I'm more fitted for heavy parts. So a lot of like promo work and all that, tends to get drawn to me because I have the natural deep set voice that, like I said, like, you hear, when they're just like, doing the whole trailer bit, it's just like, in a world of one man. That kind of deal, Over time though, it's like, of course, like, you naturally want to expand. So I started taking different workshops and some classes on voice acting. I took a couple from voice actor Crispin Freeman. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but he's a pretty prominent voice actor within the anime and video game community. And so I started learning how to adapt my voice and how to utilize it in different ways. And also, what really helped too is I actually took a couple singing classes, believe it or not. And learning how to control my vocals through that also helped a lot, because then I found out, hey, I can actually up my pitch a little bit, and if you're gonna hear this, it's pretty cool. If I start to up my pitch a little bit, and if I start talking a little more in the back of my throat here, right along here, I suddenly take on an Irish accent, and it's a little bit higher than my normal tones. So doing stuff like that, I found out, hey, I can actually do a lot more.
That's awesome. Yeah, see, I can totally relate. Like, I don't like how my voice sounds. I wish people could hear my voice the way I'm hearing it, because I think I sound better, in my opinion. I'm sure you feel the same way. I know a lot of people. I don't know, like, when I hear myself talk, I sound like a guy, like a normal guy. But then when I hear myself talk, to me, I sound so gay, and I'm just like, or really feminine, and I was just like, oh god, like, oh, how do people deal with my voice? But I think it's something I definitely need to work with, and I think honestly, doing a lot of stuff I said I was going to do, I think that can definitely help. I think the only thing with my voice that I'm okay with is my screaming. I like my screams. I think they sound really good. At least my low screams. I got to work on my highs more. I'm figuring out how to flow my air correctly.
Okay.
To do that high scream, but it's not strong and developed enough to. It just sounds like that shitty generic high scream. You know what I mean?
I hear ya.
Yeah. I would try now. If I was try right now, probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Well, that's why, as you probably saw, I'm drinking tea here. I'm always drinking tea these days because it's the only thing that saves my vocals.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so have I told you about the tea that Craig Mabbitt uses to cleanse his vocal cords? Have I told you about this before?
I don't think so. No.
So I listened to an interview. Which interview? I wish I could find it again. Remember he was in like trailer, not a trailer, like an RV or like a trailer or something, and during this interview. But I remember he was saying that he makes tea, he puts honey and lemon in it,
Okay.
and then he puts in gummy bears and lets it melt, just like the gelatin. Like gelatin is good for your throat.
Sure.
And, but like melting it just gives it more of an extra coating.
Huh.
And then he adds a little bit of Jack Daniels just to give the alcohol content to cleanse it, just like a little bit.
Right.
Otherwise, it ruins your voice. And he's like obsessed with Jack Daniels, so he drink it and he cleanses his voice, and that's what helps him sing. And it's crazy. I'm assuming you know Craig nowadays, like from Escape the Fate.
Yes.
You know he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like just hearing him, like that's really interesting. I never thought of.
Not sponsored by him, but if you haven't heard him, go check him out.
It's a great band. I actually like his side project a bit more. The Dead Rabbits. It's a lot heavier to Escape the Fate, and it's like Craig really puts in a lot of emotion.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's artists like that really help me, really motivate me. I think really Friends, music, and TV shows really have just been my biggest influence. And being around family and friends, I think without that, I really think I'd still be lost as a person.
Yeah, I can understand that one.
We all.
Well, it's funny because I remember going through high school. I would listen to a lot of darker tone music. Music that was a lot more towards like pain, death, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. And then when I got out of high school, that's when I started kind of coming out of that, and I started listening to a lot more music that dealt with. Some of it still dealt with the emotional side of of heartbreak, pain, but I started finding more music that actually dealt with, just talking about life in general, and that to me was actually kind of an eye opener, because that connection made with that music, realizing that they understand, the stuff I've gone through, and yet I see how they turned out. I'm like, okay, you know what? Things might be kind of crappy right now, but doesn't mean it's always going to be. Hopefully not, but...
You see, for me, in high school, I started getting into metal when I was in my freshman year, and, getting into bands like Cool Frank Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, and then later on, I would look up people's MySpaces, and because I liked their taste in music, or they knew the bands I did, and they loved it. I look and find out more bands. That's how I discovered bands, like Skylight Drive, Escape the Fate, Silverstein, Killswitch Engage, All That Remains, As They Lay Dying, bands like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring Me the Horizon, and I think I think after I graduated high school, I really expanded on more types of music I never thought I would get into. I started liking more classic rock. I started to like more kinds of rock. Metal-wise, I've liked a lot more emotional, heavier stuff that's not as popular. And it's crazy. I wish I remembered how much songs I listened to in high school. Like on my iPod now I have like 26,000 songs. Like I think in high school I had less than 10,000.
Right.
And it's only been 5 years since then. Almost 5 years, so it's like it just really expanded. It's me keep expanding, just learning more types of music, and I feel like there's a certain kind of happiness that a certain genre is projecting that you can relate to, and I think that's why people like it.
Absolutely.
And for me, I perform with happiness, and I can connect with that with different types of music.
Mm-hmm.
One day I may be feeling more motivated by a pop song, another day I may be feeling more motivated by a metal song, and another day I just feel more, inspired by an EDM song. It just really depends on my mood, and and I happen to find a really good song that day. Because there are a lot of ones that just sound repetitive and boring, and sick of it,
Now I will admit this, and I know that some people are I'm probably gonna get messages about this. I will admit this. There is one band that I discovered in high school, really liked, and then kind of walked away from them because I was getting poked fun at it for it, so I gave in, walked away from it. And But like nowadays, it's like I'll still listen to them occasionally if I feel like it. But are you familiar with the group called? They're better known as Him, but it actually stands for His Infernal Majesty.
Yeah.
You familiar with them?
Since high school, yeah, or since freshman year. I used to be obsessed with that band early on, and then I just kind of lost interest over time. But I still like their music, but they're definitely not top of my list. But they're definitely not, in my opinion. I don't think they're that bad of a band.
Well, the reason I bring them up is because I recently I pulled out some of their stuff again because I was just going through my music list and I'm just like, hey, I've listened to these guys in a while. Let's throw them on, whatever. Right. And as I'm sitting there listening to the music, I'm like, I started to have this realization wash over me where I was just like, no wonder this music appealed to me so much because it was dealing with the aspect of love and heartbreak. And as we all know in high school, what are the two things that you're dealing with? Love and heartbreak.
I need to catch up on new albums. There's just a bunch of bands just like aren't around anymore. I need to go around. That like I really need to look up. There's a lot of bands I'll still listen to their new albums, where a lot of people won't. Like 303. That example.
Oh yeah.
I haven't heard about 303 like 2011. And they recently started releasing new songs, and they were actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But then I heard their album that they released like a couple years ago. It wasn't that great.
Right.
I didn't really like it at all, but then I heard the new songs, and it's just really good. So what's another artist?
Here's one for you. I don't know if you've ever really listened to Steven Tyler from Aerosmith.
Not very much. See, there's other artists that like I need to download a discography for.
Yeah.
One band I never grew up with was Muse. I really love Muse.
Good choice.
Time around, and they're one of the bands I just haven't downloaded the music for. I just haven't had the opportunity to. Same with like other artists like Demi Lovato and Miley Cyrus. It's just always been around, but I never like downloaded all their music, and I'm wanting to do that very soon.
Yeah, well, the thing with Steven Tyler is it's interesting because like originally, like when he was doing Aerosmith, his band, they were very much of your classical rock and roll. Right. But then he went and did some solo stuff, and suddenly we're hearing him do like country, and I'm just like, whoa, what a jump! And I was kind of hesitant to listen to it, but I did, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah, God, that reminds me with the Jonas Brothers, because you know how they have that pop rock kind of style when they were signed with Disney, and then they quit signing with Disney, and they did like an EP, and it was so much more mature, so much more different. And then God Musical Difference broke up, and Joe ended up doing a soul album. I'm not sure if you've ever heard what's the name of it? I believe it's called Just in Love, because I'm just in love with you. Yeah, like that ending hit sounded completely different. And there's just one song on there called Kleptomaniac. It's so good. It was just way more mature, way more catchy. And then now he's in that. It's in this one band now. I don't know what it's called. But they really see big hits on the radio all the time now, and it's just with these other people. Like doesn't involve his brothers at all.
Right.
Yeah, the song's called "Cake by the Ocean." I forgot. I think the artist is DMCE. You've likely heard it on the radio at this point. It's been on the radio for the past 1, 2, 3 months now.
Okay.
I'll link it to you later. After
sure.
But yeah, like for a second here, you're like, oh, I've heard that before. But
yeah.
it's just weird to see like them go one way and then suddenly become another after becoming solo or anything like that. Like
right.
Justin Timberlake, that's another good example.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, sounded so different and in sync, but then when you start doing his solo stuff, it just had a different vibe, different tone to
right.
it.
Rather than like what you'd expect from like your typical boy band, he suddenly took on a much I don't know how else to phrase it, but it became a what was that?
Maybe the word dynamic. I think it's dynamic, especially recently.
Dynamic, yes, but it became a little more of a mature sophistication that he used. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's like, you're doing a good job when you could stop making music for like 5 years and then release a single and just be just as popular.
Right.
For most artists, when you don't release something and you start doing it again, people tend to not give a crap.
Yeah.
Because they've moved on. And you know, like it's just. I mean, yeah, actually, Backstreet Boys is a great example on that.
Sure,
They,
yeah.
like, they had this gap where they didn't make music for about 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
Now they've ever since like 2007, they've released like 4 albums. They even did a collaboration album with New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
No one knows, no one pays attention. Everyone used to like New Kids on the Block too, like in the 80s and 90s, you know, but pay attention. But it's just like it's because they had that gap that are going on. Like I think you have to be insanely viral and insanely liked in order to, you know, still just keep doing that, you know.
Right. Because there are groups out there too who they've stopped, come back, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
As much as I hate as much as I hate to say it, because this is a group I actually really enjoyed when they first started out. But I mean, your metal rock group, Deep Purple, very influential group, you know, in their early years. But then they, you know, stopped for a bit, tried to continue, and unfortunately their lead singer, you know, his voice just wasn't his voice anymore. It didn't flow. And so it's just like, you know, why are you guys still trying to push this? You know, it's not going to work. You need to find some other outlet.
Yeah, dude, no joke. I feel that way about Lindsay Lohan because, like, I don't know if you know, but she made music too. And her music was really good. I feel like, you know, obviously her acting career is ruined, but like, I feel like if she were to go back to doing music and she played her cards right, I think she could definitely get a lot of attention for it.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I feel like if you've done more than one thing and this one field isn't working anymore, just go to another, you know?
Yeah.
Don't just keep trying to do it, you know? And maybe if you get enough attention doing that one thing, you can go back to it and people want to notice you again, you know?
Mm-hmm. And that's, again, going back to what we were talking about, you know, as an artist, I think it's actually almost a mistake to limit yourself to one thing. Because, like, you know, just like we were saying, it's like, you know, sometimes you'll hold really strong for a good long while in one thing you're doing, but, you know, if due to age or, you know, some kind of incident occurs to where you can't continue that anymore, you need another outlet. So I think it's very important to remain versatile.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's a great way to learn, too, knowing that you're covering all these different fields instead of just specializing in one. Because I don't think you're really learning as much if you're doing it that way either, you know?
Right, absolutely. So for you, Gino, then, I mean, like, I'm gonna bounce this back to you. I mean, what are you looking to do? What's your final goal here?
I think kind of in a similar sense of what you said with how you jumping different things. You know, at the end of the day, I really want to do YouTube videos. I think it'd be cool to someday, you know, just make money making YouTube videos.
Sure.
Stuff that can really help people with what they're going through and make people laugh. And knowing that at the end of the day, I did something different. You know, just something that's not like what everyone else is doing. And, you know, I just want to be remembered for doing something different. I think that's my internal goal. You know,
Okay.
Doing YouTube, doing Vine, doing Tumblr, and I also want to do like music videos and like weird videos. And I'd also love to do, you know, I'd love to actually do music, do like audio production for stuff. You know, I think I really want to go the place. And really at the end, like probably after I start graduating, I'm gonna start doing. There's a bunch of cool video ideas I have. Some are there's like motion graphic ideas, and there's just a ton of stuff I want to do. I'm not going to say them right now because I don't want people to be like, "Ooh, that sounds great," and I'm not doing it later on.
Right.
I hate when people do that, so I don't want to do that either. But I want to do that, and you know, that's really the big thing. I also want to, you know, go back to doing music. I really want to. I think with everything I've gone through, I feel like it's enough motivation to actually start trying to, you know, work on solo stuff. And you know, I'm hoping if all goes well. You know, I've been talking to Darren Senick and Kieran Lynch from Hands of a Trader, and they were interested in being involved in the band that I want to start. And I hope that goes through because Darren and Kieran are freaking fantastic guitarists. You know, and it's like these guys are only 18, and it's just like they could play they could play better than a lot of pros, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if you ever remember that song I released in 2014. It's called "The Prince and the King."
I remember that one. Yes.
Yeah, like that he had Kieran in it, and you know, he was doing the main melody for that, and like he sounded so good in that. And the best part was he improvised a good amount of that. Like, he just came up with it, just hearing it. Like, basically, I went through that song. I played it like a few times. He was just messing around and playing random stuff.
Sure.
Then we literally we played a part, he improvised. We then just kept playing it in pieces, and he just did it, and then I just composed it together. And it's just like, but like, even though he didn't improvise the entire 7 minutes through, the fact that he could just come up with all these complicated riffs and stuff just within, you know, 2 minutes is just crazy.
That's incredible. That really is.
Like, and you know, I click with them very well musically as well, so I think that'd be really cool. And you know, sometimes, you know, we'll go to parties and stuff, and you know, me and Darren will start, like, you know, harmonizing to songs, just, you know, just for fun.
Well, yeah.
You know? And it's like I could really see that going somewhere because we harmonize pretty well, and so that'd be really cool. And then I just need to find a good bassist or a drummer. I know Emil, who was also in that band, said he was interested in doing bass, and I talked to a couple other people. And then I know there's other guitarists that I know wanted to do stuff too. I've talked to Kevin Gladnick a few times, and
Kevin's fantastic.
He would be some stuff. Oh, dude, this is crazy. I don't give credits. I don't give credits on it. This is pretty cool. So, like, I don't know if you know, but for the longest time, Kevin always hated metal music.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then this one time we were just chilling at my place, and Darren was playing this like really heavy song. I believe he was playing, just really heavy like deathcore music.
Okay, yeah.
And so like we were all pretty like drunk, and but then Kevin was like, "Oh God, this is so good!" Like, like he was just really. I think it's just because he wasn't sober, but it was funny. But then later on, he just kind of was understanding why he liked metal. He's getting into it. He said he wanted to like learn the stuff, and so then I messaged him the next day. I was like, "Are you serious about that, or is that just like under the?"
Was that the alcohol talking?
Yeah, because I mean, there's plenty of people that are like, "Yeah, no, I was just not sober," and like, no, that's not gonna happen. But yeah, so there's that. Kevin's a really good guitarist too. Like, he's really fantastic. And so yeah, there's just a bunch of other people I could really think of. But it's just like I love doing stuff with them, and you know, I think it could really lead somewhere. And also, like, yeah, like I'd love to do stuff with everyone. I've seen them do videos before, and they're just great at it. Kevin, I've even done stuff with him before. Remember that Super Mario Failure thing?
Yes.
Like, Kevin did like all those voices, like that was so much fun to do. Out of all the parties I've ever done at Artist, that one was definitely one of the most fun to do. Just we have this insanely crazy script on, you know, like just like Mario having a like argument with Pee-wee Herman. Just like doing this whole thing, and it was just so much fun. Just seeing people bring out their talent and just, you know, like we'll bring out all our talents together and just making something great at the end that was truly something original. And I think that's really the point of what I want to do. Because we're all unique. We all have a dream we want to go for. It's like, if we do together, we can make it better and we can really, you know, some ass of it.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, Matt. Well, we actually are hitting about an hour and 15 minutes here, so I think we're gonna have to wrap up here. So, okay, really fast. So, where can everyone look you up? Where can they find you?
So yeah, that's the other thing. I say for right now, my current Facebook, Gino Símplicío, that's definitely a good place to look at. I also have I don't know if you know, I have a .com site now.
Oh, really?
It's GinoSímplicío.com. It's Gino, Gino, and last name is Simplicio.
I'll also include links in the description for everyone here, too.
Cool. Thanks, man. And so you'll see my portfolio stuff on there. There's currently some stuff that has not been uploaded yet. I'm waiting to get credit information and making sure getting all the copyright figured out. And so I'm gonna get those up soon. And then after I graduate, I'm just gonna keep adding more stuff. There's also my Tumblr, same name .tumblr.com. And then there's my YouTube account, which is youtube.com/thebittv. But that's not going to be the YouTube account I'm going to do my YouTube stuff on. I'm going to go under... I'm deciding whether to use my real name or some stage name. I was thinking of going under the name Semino, like combining Gino and Símplicío.
Okay.
The people ever tried pronouncing my last name and spelling it, so I thought I may as well go under a different name. I was either considering that or going under the name Gino Ross, like using my mom's maiden name.
Okay.
Just have a easier thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, I know some YouTubers do that. They change their last name or something else. Like Shane Dawson, his real name is Shane Y'all.
Yeah.
But he goes under Dawson, and everyone knows him under that. So, but yeah, once that's done, I'll announce that on the blog that's on my website. I'll announce it on Facebook. I'll announce it on Tumblr. So yeah, and so people will definitely know about it.
Awesome, very awesome.
Yeah, if you look at all that, especially the Tumblr and Facebook and stuff, you'll notice video updates, you'll see new photos, you'll see a bunch of new stuff, and yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Also, I'm also going to work on, I'm going to make a Vine, I'm going to get Instagram, start using other social media, start using Twitter more. So as that goes on, I'm sure we'll do another podcast at some point. So if
definitely,
so when we do that, I'll probably have all that for you by then.
Very cool. All right, folks. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Gino. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man. I mean, it's been too long.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed this.
Thank you so much for inviting me on this. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad we were able to do this.
Do it again.
Yeah, for those who don't know, we've been trying the past 2 months to get this done.
Right. Something always go wrong.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I'd love to do. Honestly, after I graduate, I'd love to do more video projects with you, man. Because honestly, your voiceover work's fantastic. It saved my ass in some projects as well.
Nice.
I really would love to do stuff with you, and I think it's pretty much more. We seem to have the same vision, so it's like, why not do stuff together?
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to close out here. Once again, Gino, thank you so much for joining me. And, folks, we'll catch you next time here at Late Night Chaos. I'm your host, Chris Marz. Checking out.